okay, so we both were kind of struggling here financially.
Yeah.
And so one day, since she had an oven, like a, what is it? One of those electric, conventional?
It was a conventional oven.
A conventional oven.
Sucked electric like crazy.
But I was really missing baked goods and like pretzels. And when I was young, I worked at Pretzel Time.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the mall, and it's a cousin to Auntie Am's pretzels. So anyway, I came to her house and we fixed pretzels. I was eating them and I looked at Sylvia and I said, what about if we sold these to people and earned some money? And so we gave it a go.
Yeah, because by that time, the money I had brought for our wedding and to get started was ending rapidly.
And I had already been here for 2 years.
By then, yeah. And so I was trying to get some support from my parents. I think your parents were also supporting you somewhat. And we were just trying to figure it out over here, you know, trying to see what can we do. Also, Koree was working. He was trying to make income, but it can be really, really hard to be able to make a living over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were struggling and we were brainstorming. How can we do something where our parents don't have to send us money and we can like be a little bit more independent, you know, and have some of our own money. So yeah, we would bake things and we started off with just the pretzels.
Yeah.
The first time I brought the flour and you brought the other ingredients, and
I went and got the charcoal, the Chico grill. We fired it up on the side of the road and boy did we get looked at.
I remember we mixed the dough in your house.
Yes.
And then we shaped the pretzels. And then we carried it out beside the road and we just deep fried them by the bus stop, by the matatu stop.
Good boy. You're eating so good. And he'd be so proud of you. Taavi. Sugar. Good burp.
So we deep fried them that night beside the bus stop. And I think we did 1 bag of flour that night.
Yes.
It was over within like 30 minutes.
Right.
It was done. So.
And we did it over oil. And it came out like, it did not come out greasy. We
Right.
were in shock.
Because we didn't know, we were trying to decide, when we discussed pretzels, we were like, are you talking to? Say, I have a story too.
You have a story too. You just keep talking while we're talking then, okay? Okay.
So we were trying to discuss, like, how can we do soft pretzels? That's what we did. They called them mandazis here, but we made soft pretzels.
Yes.
We were trying to figure out, how can we do it without an oven? And so Eve was like, well, let's try to do the Chico and just hot oil and deep fry them. And so we did that and it was really neat. They came out like crunchy on the outside and soft on the inside.
We're gonna do it again.
It was amazing. And so we started with pretzels with just salt. And then we graduated to a few more bags of flour. And by the third night,
baby, you okay? Okay, he's got his breath now.
Are you good, man?
Sometimes.
Are you good, man?
Okay.
So by the third night, we had, you don't want that, do you? I think he's starting to teeth. So by the third night, we had bought a table to put the pretzels on, and we decided instead of designing them in the house, we're gonna put it on the table and show the people how we designed the pretzels, and they were so in awe. Eve worked at Pretzel Time, so she knew how to like flip them and twist them, and like the pretzels were being made,
and just getting the table alone. You know, I did that on a picky too, just like I got the goat.
She went to a woodworking shop and got the table designed and then carried it on the back of a picky.
Yeah.
And brought it. And so that we did that a few nights. We were right where the matatu stop and people get picked up and dropped off. And so people were buying them like crazy. And then we started thinking, we're right in the dust where the cars are coming up. And Eve was like, why don't we get a shop and get it inside where we don't have to carry, because every day we were carrying the table, the Jico, everything. Like we had a ton of stuff.
Yeah, we can keep all our supplies at one place and lock it up.
We would put all the stuff on top of the table, and then Eve would carry one end and I would carry the other end, and we would walk out to the road and people would just look at like, what is happening? Anyway, so by the next, I think it was by week 2, we were in the small shop, which I'll include a picture.
Yes.
We had a little, they take containers and they make like shops out of them, individual shops.
And that's when all the news came too.
Yeah, so we had one little block, and we called it Mzungu pretzels.
Yes, means white person pretzels or something.
Yeah, so Mzungu is what we would be called. Like in South America, I think they call white people gringos or something like that. Here they call them Mzungus. So we called it Mzungu's Pretzels and started our shop, and Eve would get there in the morning and make the dough, and then I would come like an hour later or so and help her. Like we had a little setup where we had them displayed, and I'm gonna play a clip right now of when I was being interviewed by the news media that had come out to interview us.
You have probably seen her photos splashed on social media, hawking foodstuffs on the streets of Kisumu County. They call her Mzungu wa Mandazi, a name derived from her business of selling American pastries in Kisumu. Okwakusa brings you the story of Sylvia Bichanga, an American woman whose way of eking out a living has caught the attention of many.
We caught up with Sylvia Bichanga at a popular shopping center known as K-City in her true element. Food hawking is what Sylvia does for a living. For 3 months, this has been her hustle.
So I start on one side, taking one aisle at a time. And if I walk through the whole place and I haven't sold, next I walk to maybe the park where they have the small groups. And after that I also go to Tivoli. Yeah, so I just go around. Within 2 to 3 hours I will have sold all of it.
Some of the food items Sylvia hawks include pizza pockets that go for 80 shillings, apple pie which sells at 70 bob, mango pie, tea, as well as sausage rolls. Then of course there is the flagship product, pretzels.
I'm not an educated person. Let me just say that right off. I'm not an educated person. I never went to high school. I went only through grade school. In America we have 1st through 8th grade, so I went through 8th grade, and my dad was like, I need you to work in my business, the office. Come in the office, schedule with clients, I need you there on the phone.
Sylvia and her friend Eve Ocheng started the business in September, selling foodstuffs by the roadside. But that move did not go down well with their spouses.
I love what she's doing, she's okay with it. Everyone, like our families, are okay with it, so that's why I'm very supportive.
All right.
Yeah.
After everything went kind of viral, he sat me down and he's like, you know, this is the business that you and I started. We are working on this, and I hear you're going to the streets. He's like, are you okay with hawking?
But after selling by the roadside for 2 days, Sylvia and Eve acquired a space at a business complex located near car wash area and set up Mzungu pretzels.
Chai ni healthy kushinda hata hizi zetu. Hizi zetu ni wanaweka majani chai tu na sukari na maji, unauziwa, na hapa kuna kila kitu ndani.
Ukionja ina ladha fulani, na hiyo ladha ndio ilituvutia sana, ndio maana tukaamua sasa tuwe customers wa hii place.
Nimeonja, nimesikia utamu wake ni tofauti na ya Europe hapa.
Sylvia came to Kenya in the company of her parents through a conservative Christian mission. A few weeks after they arrived in Kisumu, she met her husband, Kelvin. Kelvin owns an electronic shop where he repairs computers, laptops and mobile phones. Okwakusa, NTV.
So the video you just saw was after we had been in the shop for a few days, and Eve randomly decided she's going to take a bucket full of the goodies we made, and she's going to go out and give them, like, not give them, but sell them to people instead of waiting for the people to come to us.
I was laying in bed thinking to myself, you know, how we're raised, or how I was raised at least, is if the customers are not coming to you, you need to go to them.
Right, and that's what she did.
Me being a saleswoman.
She can sell
inside.
anything. She can sell anything.
I called Sylvia after we got done working one night and I said, I think we're supposed to go to town and promote our business so people can start coming to our door.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. We got up the next morning. She helped make everything so I could go out and then watch over the shop while I was gone. Then randomly, somebody took a picture of me from behind. And that's when things started stirring.
Yeah.
I kind of ducked my head in the sand and Sylvia took it all out. I said, you just go ahead.
I am Sylvia. I'm married to a Kenyan man, Kelvin. We are the Bichangas, and I have a business here called Mzungu Pretzels, and we sell basically American street foods. I came here as a missionary with my family almost 3 years ago. It's when I met my husband. So my family went back home to America and I remained here with him. So we soon found out life is hard in Kenya. He actually lost his office where he was fixing laptops. So I decided to start this business with my husband to try to help make an income to pay the rent. So far it's been going good. Of course you always have the downsides of starting a business, but so far it's been going good. People have been positive about it. They always tell me in a small way, this is how I can experience America, to have an American street food right here in our own town of Car Wash. I decided to do food simply because I'm not that much of an educated person. Back in the States, I actually never went to high school. I just went directly into working. So I don't have that big of an education, and food is something in my culture. My mom taught me how to cook. So it's something I'm comfortable with doing. I love baking and cooking. So that's why I'm doing this one. And also I wanted to give Africans a chance to taste something unique. It's not a mandazi, it's not a chapati, it's something unique. I can say the locals welcomed us very well. I am at this shop with one of my friends of who she's lived here for quite a number of years. So she knew a lot of the locals. They are like family to her. So it is the locals that have boosted our business, that have promoted us, that have spread the word. The locals have been very much receiving for the most part. They're kind of from everywhere. We have people who are conductors on matatus. We have people who come with their cars. Our food has been reaching all walks of life. Everything we have is under 100 shillings, so it's available to everyone. It's not an expensive food where we only reach the rich or we only reach the people less fortunate. It's for everyone, and I like that, bringing everyone together where no one is better than the other. They are very supportive of it, because when we were without this business and I was just in the house, my husband was losing his office, he was now just in town looking for work. We were not able to pay our rent. At times we didn't have groceries. It's when they were like, try to find work. Try to find work with your husband starting a business. You work for him. So that's what we did. Life here, it's hard. That's the main thing that's different from America is as much as life is hard, it's also simple. Life here, like starting this shop in a place where there's no running water, it's a no in the States. We would not be allowed to cook food in a place where there's no running water. So in some ways like that, life here is simple and more slow-paced than in the States.
able to produce more money going out to the people. And that's what I saw here. I saw a lot of people just sitting all day long, sitting and waiting on people. Well, that might not work out for that day for them.
Right. So we didn't think
yeah.
twice. We didn't think twice because Car Wash, the area where our shop was a little bit away from the main area in town.
Yes.
So we didn't think twice to just load it in buckets, and Eve would jump on a picky with a bucket on each side full of baked goods and head into town. And I would just watch the shop and have supply there and sell to the customers that came there. So she was walking the street, and somebody that is like in the local news area here in Kisumu just snapped a picture of her from behind and was posting it and was like, there's white people selling food on the streets like we do. Like, they're out here, what they call hawking is when you take your goods and you walk with them and you sell to people. And even I didn't even realize that it's considered kind of a low-grade job. And so that's why they were so shocked that a white person from another country that they usually assume they have money would be hawking. That was what the big ruckus was about.
My whole thing was I was being like the people, and I was going to work like them and know them and understand them. And I put myself in the position of having nothing and starting from ground up here too. So,
and I was married to one of theirs, and I was like, I was living in a better apartment than some of them might be, but I mean, we still ran out of money. And I know I had people saying like, we thought you just wanted to be in the news. That's why you did what you did. But the reason I did was because, yes, I did have parents in the U.S. that had money, but my dad wasn't one to hand out money to his children just like that.
right.
He expected us to work for our money, and I know Mom would always ask, like, have you tried to make any money today? Or even when I did borrow from my dad, he would always say, I'm writing it down and you need to pay me back. So you think twice before you ask when you have to pay it back. And so I was trying to find my own way. I didn't even think one time that we would end up being in the news or that it would be a big deal. It never crossed my mind. One
thing that I love about Sylvia is when the Lord is involved, she is like how can I say it? She's not afraid to go into the unknown. And a lot of people are. A lot of people won't take risks, but she takes risks.
Well, I feel like I wouldn't have had the courage to do what I did if it wasn't for you.
Yeah, so it's like we bring out the best in each other.
Yeah.
And we do what we feel is in our hearts to do for the better, the better of everyone else and ourselves. And at least that's what I pray and hope for all the time anyway. So.
And then, when we did that, the news media came in, like we said, and then Eve was like, I'm just going to take the back burner here, and you just go do the talking there. And I said, well, I mean, I don't know why everybody's calling. Like, Citizen called, NTV called, they were all calling to want interviews, and Koree was like, what in the world is happening?
I had so much fun with the people then. We were able to talk and be with everybody every day. Well, I was anyway, but doing it together was fun.
It was. So the whole media thing kind of boosted our business, and then that slowed down. And then it was over that time that Eve was called to go back home to the U.S., and she went back for a few years.
Yes.
And I stayed here and took it on for a while, but then later I found out, like, I need a very expensive work permit to even be cooking food and selling it on the street.
Yeah.
So I had to stop that.
I had the handling license. I got that.
And we had the business in Koree's name, but the officers that I talked to,
But
they
being
said,
on a dependency pass, you can't work.
because I'm not a citizen here.
I didn't realize any of that.
We didn't know about that, but we weren't allowed to do any work. So we had to eventually close down the business, but God was looking out for Koree and I. We were still here in Kenya. And over that time, our YouTube channel really took off, and that's how we kind of, there were a lot of other businesses. We tried making pallet furniture. We tried all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Koree was an Uber driver for some time. Like we tried so
You
many
even made
different
pizzas.
things. Yeah.
And
Oh,
you
we
did
need
really
to
good.
talk about our menu. Oh yeah, I did make pizzas for a while. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
we
that's
did
where
everything.
we came up.
I
So-
made popsicles for kids too at
Yeah.
one point.
So at one point, we discovered that the pretzel dough can be used in many different ways.
Mhm.
And so we were able to use one product and stretch it out and not cost much.
Right.
So
We started with the pretzel with salt, and then you came up with the next pretzel
well,
flavor.
at Pretzel Time and at Auntie M's, you got the pizza pretzel. Then you have like a hot dog with the pretzel in it, and we called it smoky rolls here.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
what we did, we made a salted pretzel,
and
that
then a cinnamon sugar one.
a cinnamon sugar one was the next one, but then we changed the salted one and we added garlic salt to the salt, and we added butter.
Yeah, it was
So
nice.
It was nicer than just salt. So we have like a garlic salt pretzel and a cinnamon sugar pretzel. Those were our first two items.
And then whenever I tasted the cinnamon sugar and how the pizza pocket and the hot dog thing came out okay, I was like, we could make a dessert out of this.
Yeah.
So-
So next we made smoky rolls. So basically it's like little hot dogs or smokies. They sell them on the street with eggs. You might have seen in other Kenyan YouTubers videos. They sell them on the street
Want
with
me to hold
eggs.
them?
No, it's okay. His teeth are just driving him crazy.
Yeah.
They sell them with eggs, and they'll cut the hot dog or smoky open and put like tomato, like a salsa in it.
It's good.
So it's really yummy. So we just took that same smoky and we wrapped the dough around it, and then we deep fried it.
Yeah.
Because the smokies are like a pre-cooked meat. So it just needed to be heated up, and then the dough needed to be done. So then we also brushed butter and garlic salt on top of those. It was so good. And then after the smoky roll, we made what we call a pizza pocket, and we took the same dough and rolled it out, and I made like a homemade pizza sauce, and then I fried like some sausage pieces. I fried them up and put them in the pizza sauce. So the sausage and the pizza sauce was together, and then I would put a scoop of that inside a circle of this dough, the pretzel dough. Then I would place a little slice of mozzarella cheese in with it, and I would close it up and close the edges with a fork. Then I would deep fry that whole thing, because the inside was already cooked. It just needed to be heated up, and then to heat the dough. Then we would again brush it with butter and garlic salt. Then after that, Eve came up with a dessert option.
Yeah, so we would do like pie filling. I made up pie filling from apples and also mangoes. And then we put the cinnamon sugar on top of that inside the dough. So it's kind of like pizza pocket and dessert pockets.
Yeah, we used all the same pretzel dough, but then we would slice up apples.
All deep frying it.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
We would slice up apples and made it into a really, with some butter and cinnamon and sugar, like a really nice apple pie filling. And then we would brush it with butter and put cinnamon and sugar on top of it. And then we decided to also make the mango one because mangoes are fairly cheap here, so we would make
it was like a spin-off from peaches that are not here.
Yeah, so we would make mangoes with sugar and clear gel and make like a pie filling. And then we would, for the mango pies, we would just put regular sugar on top. But yeah, that was like our menu. By then we had a nice big menu, and we served it every day with the hot chai that we were serving the other day, and especially during rainy season, people really enjoyed the food. So that was our menu. I think we were so creative. We were deep frying all this food. Remember, we didn't have an oven.
And then we made the tea.
We had a gas cylinder with a burner on top, with a rack, and with a big sufuria of oil,
which was
freestanding.
Wow.
One day it tipped over and the room was flooded with oil. That was a day that I think I went in the back and I cried. It was not a good day.
And then my good friend Anointed, one of my picky drivers, he said, you girls need to be selling tea with all those pastries. And so that's when Sylvia came up with her tea. Yeah. And so that's what we did the other video, like 2 videos before this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was our menu. We did that business together. Yeah, well, like I said, until Eve was called to go back home for a few years and I was left here with Koree. I was so lonely after she left.
I was lonely for Africa and her too. I really was. You know, they talked about culture shock here. I get it at home. I come from a very good family, and my sisters, my brother-in-laws, my nephews, my nieces, I have a very close family. And then there's me. You never know what Eve's gonna do. What is Eve doing? My sister works with my dad. My older sister runs the business with him. And then my younger sister owns about 9 scooter franchises.
That's a coffee shop called Scooters. Some of you might know.
Yes. And so I come from a family of a lot of independent women.
But I do feel like you're kind of the oddball in your family.
I'm very odd. My sister will say Eve will do everything opposite of what everybody else wants.
Well, you're following what God is telling you to do.
She'll be in public with me and go, Eve, please don't talk to that person. You don't know them. Don't talk to them.
Yeah, that's one thing. If you're in public with Eve will just randomly feel led to talk to somebody or pray with somebody, and I just tell her, go ahead, I'll wait
Sylvia
here.
Sylvia lets me be me. She allows me to even spread my wings more, and it brings more to me, more faith to me even. So.
Well, I mean, I know you know what you're doing, and you're following what God tells you to do, so.
She also tells me no. She'll tell me no too. She'll say, don't do that. Don't do it ever again. And I'll be like, okay, I won't do it. Because she watches over the concerns of people's hearts too.
Yeah.
So if she sees that something's going to harm me, she'll say, no, don't do that. So she's very caring, very giving to everybody. So I'm very blessed to have a friend like her, and that's why I went across the world to help her with her new baby. This wonderful baby.
Well, likewise, we're blessed to have Eve here, and I'm just excited to see what God is going to do in your life. I mean, right now, you're free, wide open, ready to go wherever God asks you to go. But it is hard to be out here and be independent and, you know, be on your own and try to figure out your way of how to go from day to day and what you're going to be doing.
Right. And like I said, when we were making tea, I learned how to say my no here. Like, I used to be a pushover and want to be a people pleaser. And here, and, well, just now in my life, I know how to respect myself and have worth. And so when I go out there, it's like carried with me. So I'm not afraid of people. And if they cross the line with me, I just say, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be really strong over here, you know.
Yeah.
And I've seen you be really strong.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think we have probably or tried our best to answer most of your questions.
I'm trying to think back of everything. So I went through brutal agony in my body for many years. God took me out of that. Then I've gone through a lot more in my life. And we'll just say I'm here on my own. And I just pray for me.
Yeah.
Just pray for me. And
pray especially that God would lead her and show her what she should be doing next, and you know what to do with her life. And I'm still trying to convince her to start a YouTube channel, but you know, YouTube is a very public platform, and it can be a lot.
And what I do is very private.
Right.
Because I'm dealing with people and it's their lives.
Right. You know, when you go, and I think Eve's side of it is when she's going to pray with somebody or to hear somebody's story, she doesn't want to exploit that on YouTube.
Well, and every phone that comes in contact, if there's somebody seeing something, how in the world is anybody going to be sincere with you?
Right.
Unless they're prepared.
If you're videoing them.
I don't know.
I've been trying to tell her she can do the ministry side in private, and then just do fun videos with you guys like she did going to buy the goat or going to pass out tea or whatever she goes to do is always an adventure. But
it's because I'm doing it. I like to do that for you.
She likes to make videos for our channel, but I'm telling her, you know, it could be a way she could support herself possibly and entertain you guys. And so she's still praying about it. We're waiting to hear what God says about that one. But I'm trying, guys. I see your comments. I'm trying.
I see your comments too, but I live minute by minute and day by day.
And
the Lord's provided for me.
Right.
Oh, baby, here's the diaper. Sweetheart. I think he's teething.
I think
because he's a big baby. I know it's kind of early for him, but
I mean,
he usually doesn't do that, and he's only been doing it the past 3 days.
He's 3.5 months now.
Yeah. But he's not a throwing up, spitting up baby. He doesn't do that. So I'm thinking
he started chewing on his fingers,
gnawing and gnawing and gnawing.
Then he makes himself throw up sometimes when he does that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think he's ready to go down for a nap. So we're gonna conclude this video.
Yes.
I think we did our best to try to answer you guys' questions. Again, I just want to remind everyone: be respectful. Don't pry into Eve's life or try to...
Or anyone else's.
Or try to disrespect anybody, which I know 99% of you don't. And I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for your interest in Eve and to show her the love that you have. Thank you so much. And
I'm just hoping to touch a lot of lives here. And I love the kids here. I love the widows here. I love everybody here. And we'll see what God does with me. And I hope it's going to be a lot of fun. Everything with the Lord is a lot of fun. So
let's keep praying that the Lord allows her to open a YouTube channel, because I know that's what you guys want the most from her.
There's a lot of life out there.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm sure if she does get a channel, we'll be promoting it here on ours, and you guys will see it. So if you don't see any, that means she doesn't have a channel.
Prospering other people's lives is what I really have a passion for. Mm-hmm. Helping others and being there for them and making their lives better.
Yeah.
That brings joy, true internal joy for me. So,
yeah.
God bless you guys.
All
we'll
right.
see you later.
Bye, guys. We'll see you.
We'll be having fun the next video, maybe.
By the way, before we say bye, we do have plans to possibly
make a few pastries.
Make some of the pastries that we
pretzels.
used to make at our shop,
yeah,
and take them out. So we'll definitely be bringing you guys along like we did with the tea, and we're going to show you how we made our pastries. We're only going to make the pretzels and the smoky roll one. We won't make the fruit pie ones. But we'll show you guys how we make the pretzels and the smoky roll, and we're going to take them out and give them out for free. Once again, giving back to the community. So stay on the lookout for that video.
Yeah, we might be doing 2 different rounds of that, because we're going to try to help a man that she knows that wants to try to make those to sell, to prosper his business.
Yeah.
And so we'll be going to him to show him how to do that so he can make some money.
Yeah, so it'll probably be a 2-part video, but
Yes.
we'll figure all that out off camera.
Yes.
We'll just be showing you guys the videos as we go, and until the next video, we'll see you guys later.
And
Bye-bye.
as Koree and you say, peace out.
Peace out.
One thing's true, I never asked for nothing.